and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley and I like to talk about books, and today I'm going to be doing another set of 5-star predictions. So my last set of 5-star predictions did not go so hot. I ended up getting none of them correct. None of the books I predicted as 5 stars were 5-star ratings. I didn't hate all the books I read, they just weren't, like Chef's Kiss 5-star, creme de la creme. So this time I'm coming back with a stronger set of 5-star predictions. I have better methods this time of picking these. I feel good about it. I think I can get at least one. That's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for one correct 5-star prediction. So let's jump right into it. The first book I have on this list is on this list sort of as a trap for myself to have to read it in a timely manner so that I can follow up on this video. I'm just sort of forcing myself finally to do this, and that is Dracula. I have heard such good things about this book. I know a couple people who really have enjoyed this. I think I would really enjoy it. I really enjoy the look of this book in general, and of course I purchased it mostly for the aesthetics, but I need to actually read it so it makes sense to display it and know what it is. Obviously, Dracula is a vampire story, the classic vampire story. I was planning to read this in October and just never did. I think I will really like it. It's just a matter of making myself read it. I've never read the actual synopsis of the story of Dracula. I've just always kind of known it's a classic vampire story. So I really don't know too much of what I'm going to be getting myself into, but I've only heard good things. I think I'm really gonna like it. I'm putting on the 5-star prediction list, mostly so I'll just force myself to read it. Next up, I have one I feel very confident about, and that is In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. This is a holiday romance book, and it may be surprising that I'm putting a romance book on this list because I don't typically read a lot of romance, but I am super in the mood for a really good Christmassy romance. I've been thinking about this book for a long time. I just keep wanting to read it, but I want to save it for Christmas. I just love the concept of it. It's about this woman who has to keep reliving this holiday over and over again until I guess she gets it right or she falls in love. I don't know the exact what's going to happen. I don't want to know. I just know it is some kind of weird time loop magic thing going on. There's romance, it's Christmas. That just sounds perfect for what I'm looking for right now. I really think this is going to be exactly what I need this Christmas season. I have been looking for a Christmas movie to give me these same kind of vibes that I can just kind of watch to hold me over, and nothing is giving me what I want. And I just keep thinking about the plot of this book, and I really think this will be the one. So more specifically from the synopsis, this woman ends up stuck in this time loop, living this same holiday over and over again. One hilarious disaster after another keeps sending her back to the plane at the start of her trip, and she has to figure out how to break free of this strange time loop and finally get her true love under the mistletoe. It's like a Hallmark movie in a book. I mean, what could be better? Next, I have The Hole. This is a translated novel. It was the winner of the 2017 Shirley Jackson Award, and it is said to be a Korean take on Misery, like Stephen King's Misery. So this is a Korean psychological thriller about loneliness and the dark truths that we try to bury. I actually had this book recommended to me through a professional recommendation service. I was going to do a whole video on that and then just never did. So I do need to read this book at some point, and I do think it might be a 5-star read. It is very short, and I really like a short horror book that packs a punch. I really like psychological type horror that is about people and the real horrors of the world that is sort of represented in some kind of weird horror thing that's going on. So this just sounds right up my alley. It's about this guy who wakes up from a coma after causing a devastating car accident that took his wife's life and left him paralyzed and badly disfigured. His mother-in-law is taking care of him. She's a widow who's grieving the loss of her only child. The husband is neglected, left alone in bed as his world shrinks to the room he lies in and his memories of his troubled relationship with his wife. But he soon notices his mother-in-law in his wife's abandoned garden, uprooting what she had worked so hard to plant. So she starts digging all these holes in the garden, and he doesn't know why. And so they're both going through these grieving processes. There's weird things happening. His whole life has changed. Her whole life has changed. I just think that sounds interesting, and I've heard good things about it. I also have seen that in the corner of the pages, there is a hole at I think the beginning of each chapter, and then that hole grows as the book goes on, which I think is also just a really cool extra dimension. So yeah, I'm excited about this one, and I think it could be a new favorite horror book. Next up, I have the Collected Schizophrenias. This is an essay collection from, I believe, a woman who has schizophrenia, and it follows her time towards getting a diagnosis of schizophrenia and then venturing into the daily realities of life with a mental illness. So I typically don't read a ton of essay collections, but this seems more like a memoir to me, so I'm very interested in that. It also won the Grey Wolf Press Nonfiction Prize, also has a great cover, and I've also heard really good things about it. I'm really interested in memoirs in general, especially when they are pertaining to mental health. I'm just really interested in reading more about that, so this is exactly what I like. It seems like it has a good chance to be a new favorite of mine. It fits with some of my favorite things that I like to see in books. It's also fairly short, which is also nice. I like a quick story. And yeah, I have high hopes for this one. I think it could be a very easy 5 stars. And the last book I have is a book I've had for a long time. Everybody's read it. People in my personal life ask me about it all the time, and they can't believe I haven't read it because I read so many books, and they're like, how have you not read this one? Listen, when a book's overhyped, I avoid it at all costs because it just stresses me out. But I think it's finally time for me to take the plunge and read this book, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. To be perfectly honest, I do not even know a ton of what this book is about. I know it is something swampy in the marshland. I know there's some kind of mystery to be solved and a crime that happened, but that's kind of all I know about it, and I kind of want to leave it at that. I don't really want to read the synopsis, but I probably don't have to because you've all probably read it already and you know what it's about because everybody in the world has read it except for me. I have not heard a bad thing about this book. It is like one of the highest rated books on my Goodreads TBR. If everybody else loves it, I feel like I would too, especially it's a Reese book club pick, and I usually like Reese's book club picks. It is time to finally get this book read and hopefully add it onto my 5-star favorites list. So these are all my next set of 5-star predictions. I have a good mix of genres and new and old and highly rated and underread. There's just a nice mix of books in here. I feel very confident that at least one will be a 5-star this time. I just can't imagine if none of them are. That would just be so bizarre. And either way, I think I'll still have a better average rating of this stack of books than I did with the last one. If you would like to, you can make your predictions along with me and comment and let me know which of these you think will be a 5-star book for me, how many of these you think will actually be 5 stars, or just let me know what you think about any of these books if you've read any of them as well. If you like this video, I would also recommend that you catch up on my first episode in this series that I've started on my channel. I have episode 1, side A, where I make my predictions, and side B, where I react to my predictions and tell you my actual rating of those books. And you can also stick along, subscribe, and wait for the next part of this video, side B, where I will come back and tell you what I think about these books. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!